5 structural advantages could decide whether Universal Studios UK overtakes Disneyland Paris as Europe's dominant theme park resort by 2031. These are not brand wars or IP battles, they are baked into geography, scale, climate, capital, and design freedom. Each one compounds the last, and together they build a case that Disney's leadership should find deeply uncomfortable. The evidence starts with the advantage that underpins all the others. In the 10th place, the location of Universal Studios UK creates a decisive advantage rooted in travel friction and market reach. For British families, Bedford sits just 90 minutes away by car from central London, and the fastest trains cover the journey in under an hour. That puts nearly 30 million people within a 2-hour drive of the site, nearly half the UK population, according to mid-year Office for National Statistics estimates. The contrast with Disneyland Paris is stark. A Londoner faces a 3-hour rail journey door-to-door, including a Eurostar ticket, a TGV transfer, and the procedural drag of post-Brexit border checks. Eurostar or ferry costs can stretch from £250 to £600 for a family, and the new ETA and ETIAS systems add mandatory online approvals and extra waiting at both ends. Behavioural economics research shows that when the effort and cost of a trip cross a certain threshold, families shift from spontaneous day trips to occasional planned holidays abroad. Universal's domestic site sidesteps that friction. A parent can decide at breakfast and be through the turnstiles before lunch, while a Paris trip demands passports, paperwork, and a long-haul mindset. The result is a much higher propensity for repeat visits, quick weekend trips, and last-minute decisions, factors that expand the baseline market far beyond what any cross-channel destination can claim. The evidence is clear. Travel time, cost, and border hassle are not minor details, they are structural levers that shape the entire attendance curve. With easier, cheaper, and faster access, Universal Studios UK opens the gates to a vastly larger and more reactive domestic audience. Number 9. Land base and expansion headroom set Universal Studios UK. A park with 476 acres, nearly 4 times larger than the core park footprint at Disneyland Paris. This figure comes directly from the Special Development Order, which guarantees Universal not only the physical space, but also the regulatory certainty to build out a full-scale resort. By contrast, Disneyland Paris's main park occupies just 140 acres, hemmed in by legacy infrastructure and strict zoning buffers. The flat, contiguous Bedfordshire parcel allows for phased expansion, meaning Universal can adapt its layout over decades as demand grows, rather than being forced into costly retrofits or land swaps. A larger site translates directly into higher guest capacity, more room for hotels and parking, and the flexibility to add new themed lands or major attractions without cannibalizing existing space. Operations analysts highlight that every extra 10 hectares can support thousands more daily guests without degrading the visitor experience. While Disney's compact footprint enabled dense, walkable layouts, it now sets a ceiling on throughput and leaves little margin for future growth. Universal's 476 acres, on the other hand, create a platform for operational scalability that European parks rarely achieve. This land advantage is not simply about size for its own sake. It is the structural foundation that will allow Universal to absorb the demand unlocked by its domestic location and to evolve beyond what any legacy-constrained site can offer by 2031. 8th place, weather parity stands as a quiet but decisive factor in the long-term outlook for Universal Studios UK. Both Bedford and Marnilla Valley share a temperate maritime climate, with 30-year normals from the Met Office and Meteo France showing annual mean temperatures around 10 degrees Celsius and yearly precipitation close to 650 millimeters. That means Universal's site faces the same number of rainy days, cold snaps, and grey winter stretches as Disneyland Paris. No better, but crucially, no worse. The difference lies in how each resort adapts its design to these realities. When Disneyland Paris opened in 1992, its outdoor queue lines and exposed walkways reflected a California mindset, not Northern European weather. Within a few years, operational records showed frequent ride shutdowns and crowd bottlenecks during wet or chilly spells, forcing Disney into costly retrofits, including covered canopies, indoor pre-shows, and temporary heating. Universal's design team has taken those lessons to heart. Early planning documents call for extensive, covered queuing, climate-controlled corridors, and flexible indoor-outdoor attractions, all engineered to keep guest flow and ride capacity stable through every season. This climate-aligned approach is not just about guest comfort, it is a structural safeguard for year-round operations. By reducing weather-related downtime, Universal can maintain higher throughput on its larger footprint, ensuring that the resort's scale translates directly into usable capacity, not lost hours. In a market where winter closures and rainy day refunds cut into margins, weather-savvy architecture is more than a detail, it is a strategic foundation for operational resilience. 7th place, capital intensity and vertical clearance form the backbone of Universal Studios UK's ability to outpace its Parisian rival by 2031. Universal's financial commitment stands at £4 to £6 billion, a figure that eclipses €2 billion earmarked for Disneyland Paris's Adventure World upgrade. This is not a difference of marginal improvements, but a structural leap. A budget of this scale enables Universal to fund multiple flagship attractions, a substantial hotel portfolio, and robust back-of-house infrastructure from day one. The allocation is not limited to ride procurement, it covers land acquisition, advanced queuing systems, and sustainable energy grids, all designed to support high throughput and diversified guest experiences. The build envelope at Bedford adds another dimension. Planning permission allows for structures up to 115 metres, or 377 feet in height. By contrast, French aviation authorities cap Disneyland Paris at approximately 80 metres, a restriction that precludes the construction of hypercoasters or observation towers on the scale Universal is now permitted. This vertical advantage is not just about spectacle. It translates directly into headline attractions, coasters that can claim European records, towers that serve as regional icons, and show buildings capable of housing complex, high-capacity experiences. Financial analysts point out that every additional metre of vertical build not only enhances the guest draw, but also increases per guest spend and the park's operational flexibility. While Disneyland Paris's €2 billion is being used to retrofit an existing footprint, Universal's greenfield spend buys the freedom to design for tomorrow's audience. The capital and clearance advantages combine to turn Universal's site into a platform for marquee experiences that simply cannot be replicated under the current Paris constraints. In the calculus of future-ready theme parks, money and vertical space are the levers that convert land and climate advantages into true competitive edge. 6th place, operational freedom sets Universal Studios UK apart in ways that amplify every previous advantage. While capital, land, and climate all shape the competitive field, it is the blank slate status of the Bedford site that multiplies their effect. Universal's master plan is unconstrained by legacy layouts, obsolete infrastructure, or inherited guest flow bottlenecks. Every pathway, every utility corridor, every ride placement is optimized from the first shovel of dirt, allowing the park to be built for today's crowd dynamics and tomorrow's technology. The contrast with Disneyland Paris is direct and structural. As one Disney insider put it, Disney Adventure World is still 90% a redesign of a 2002 park. That means the core backstage tunnels, the original production courtyards, and the tram tour alignment all remain in place, shaping what can and cannot be changed. Even with €2 billion in upgrades, the Paris park must retrofit new attractions into a footprint defined by decisions made decades ago. Those decisions were themselves responses to the operational realities of the late 1990s. Operational white papers confirm that legacy infrastructure imposes hard limits. Backstage tunnels at Disney, for example, dictate where utilities and staff can move, forcing awkward guest flows and capping throughput. Universal, by contrast, can design seamless backstage access, direct ride-to-ride connections, and modern crowd management systems from the outset. The result is not just a theoretical efficiency, but a decisive multiplier. Greenfield design lets Universal convert its acreage, capital, and climate alignment into sustained operational advantage. In the race to 2031, the absence of legacy baggage is the final lever that could tip the balance. Across all 5 factors, one pattern is undeniable. Structural conditions, not brand power, set the pace for the next era of European theme parks. Universal Studios UK is not overtaking Disneyland Paris today, but its built-in advantages point to a future where trajectory, not legacy, defines who leads.